The last has not been heard about the new data tariff price as the Senate committee meets with the NCC and telecom companies. I'm Linda Akibe and you're welcome to the Gavel. The protest, which greeted the announcement of a hike in data tariff price, was loud and clear and reverberated across the country. The Senate waded in, and this may or may not have prompted the NCC to go back to status quo. During the week, the Senate Committee on Communications met with the NCC and telecom operators to get to the root of the matter. At one end of a committee room in the National Assembly are members of the Senate Committee on Communication. At the other end are the representatives of Nigeria's Communication Regulatory Agency and telecommunication companies.
This particular one will even take more time.
They are discussing the recent public outcry that greeted reports that effective from December 1st, 2016, consumers will begin to pay more for data.
As pointed out in our observation at the 2016 Budget Defense Meeting with the Commission couples of months ago, as much as the committee support the attempt by government to widen its revenue base, the committee is of the strong view that the economic well-being of the Nigerian masses, already at a low ebb, should not be further overstretched. Though the committee is aware that the Honorable Minister claimed ignorance of this directive, which is a pointer to the fact that consultations were not widely done, and the committee is further concerned that the telecom operator under the aegis of its umbrella association insists that the directive must be subsist, and this is indeed a worrying development.
The Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC, says contrary to reports, the Commission did not increase the data tariff, but was trying to protect Nigerians from an unhealthy price war between telecom operators. He said what NCC did was to introduce an interim price floor of 90 kobo per megabyte, below which telecommunication companies are not allowed to sell. This is a reduction from an initial floor price of 3 naira 11 kobo, which was suspended in 2015.
The NCC does not increase price. What we provide are what we call regulatory safeguards. A guide, that will facilitate TelCos to set their own prices or rates, as they call them.
Contributing, the Chief Executive Officer of Etisalat says the company is willing to comply with the position of the NCC. However, the CEO of MTN Nigeria is asking for a proper cost and price analysis which would factor in current inflation in the country as well as evaluation of the naira.
What's so worrying is that there is no price floor now, and this is very worrying for the industry because when we saw no price floor at all, there was a dramatic decline of 80% in the data pricing. And that's why the NCC wisely, in my view, stepped in to put in a price floor. It's not setting the tariff, a price floor around which we can set our tariffs.
All of us are aware that inflation is going up and at this stage is probably in the region of 17 to 18%. We have experienced price increases in all other sectors, yet we have seen price drop in the telco sector over the last 2 or 3 years, and you've heard this from a number of speakers. You've seen the floor price on data go down from 3 naira 11 in 2015 to where it sits today, below 60 kobo probably on average per megabyte in the industry. We have a challenge in getting access to hard currency, and you must understand that for an industry that is technology driven, and sir, your statement in terms of new technology, for us to obtain new technology which will allow us to provide better service to the Nigerian public.
NCC's Executive Vice Chairman, Mr. Umar Dambata, explains that the Commission is engaging with the operators and would carry out a scientific study to determine the correct pricing for data. He concludes that the Commission is looking at a new price which would benefit both customers and telecom operators. But the telecom operators are asking that this scientific study for proper pricing should be done as quickly as possible so as not to leave operators in limbo. It was a week where federal lawmakers in both chambers took a second look at some recent government policies, one of which is the ban on the importation of vehicles through the land borders.
The House of Representatives has asked President Buhari to suspend the ban on importation of new and used cars through the land borders. The ban, which was announced on December 5, 2016 by the Nigerian Customs Service, is due to take off from January 1, 2017. The decision of the lawmakers followed the adoption of a motion by Representative Abdullahi Salami, who noted that the percentage of Nigerians who can afford cars has reduced drastically following the decline in the value of the naira, inflation and unemployment.
The government has not put in place alternative measures to ensure that Nigerians will have access to cars, since it is cheaper to buy cars from neighboring countries and still generate revenue by ensuring that our borders are secured to prevent smuggling, and also that there will not be job losses. Further aware that some of those making these policies have failed to patronize the made-in-Nigerian goods, especially Nigerian assembled vehicles, which are in any case unaffordable to over 80% of Nigerians who can only afford fairly used imported vehicles. What is that the ban will cause more harm than good, as it will certainly lead to the increase of smuggling, deprive poor Nigerians of access to acquiring vehicles, skyrocket the prices of cars cleared at the wharf, increase inflation, and further mount pressure on already weak naira.
Lawmakers who contributed to the debate say the policy is too harsh, as it would further worsen the economic situation of many Nigerians who are already groaning under the prevailing recession.
Why should Nigerians pay the price of the inability of the Nigerian customs to effectively monitor the borders, land borders, to ensure that duties are paid and taxes are paid? That is not our job. It is the duty of the Nigerian Customs and Excise to ensure that all cars coming through land borders pay duties that are to be paid. We should not use this as an excuse to further burden Nigerians.
We cannot, because of the ineffectiveness of a government agency, give a blanket ban. At some point, we're students of history. Obasanjo's administration brought out a policy that said certain age of cars shouldn't come into the country. That's fantastic. Why can't we go back to those kind of policies rather than blanket ban? How many car factories do we have in Nigeria? Can they be able to take care of the problems that will be created as a result of this ban?